What will you do with them? Shred. But many precede you. They'll expect to see greatness. Let them watch.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Faction Tactical V1 whites. I'm super excited to try these. I just got done heat molding them, and I'm feeling still a little bit of pressure by my pinky toe, a little bit of numbness. So hopefully sessioning this and getting them all squishy with my sweat will alleviate some of that. Man, these are nice. You know, I had to pull the trigger on some new skates for once. I've only ever really gotten my skates off of Facebook Marketplace, and then my Pat Ritters, my 909s I've been riding, I got those as a gift. So I have never paid for new skates, and I'm glad these are my first ones to buy. Anyway, we're losing light. It's the 4th of July weekend. I've got plans, and it's Saturday. Sunday it's supposed to rain all day, so I'm going to try to squeeze in as much as I can and go from there. If you're new here, the routine for new boot reviews, I usually start on this flat bar, then I go to a round rail, and then I go to the flat down rail and just kind of feel it out from there, give you my thoughts. So oh man, let's get started. Oh my goodness. Every single one of those was first try. I was not expecting that. The numbness is spreading a little bit, but it's manageable. And again, like I said, I think that's gonna go away as I skate some more, but the control is amazing, but the flex is just enough for me to be able to set my tricks like I just did. I don't think for a single review have I ever landed every trick that I did first trick, first time. And I haven't skated in like a week and a half, so I seriously think that's something to be said about these. This is a really interesting carbon boot because when you're riding, it doesn't feel like a carbon boot. It doesn't translate as much road noise to your feet as other carbon boots do, or at least the Carbon 4 in my experience. But when you're grinding, you can perfectly feel the rail. And I wondered with the sole plate why there was 2 dampening pads rather than just one sole dampening pad that went across the whole sole plate. Rather, there's just 2 patches of dampening pads on these sole plates at the contact points. I think the pads underneath the contact points are giving me a comfy ride, while the absence of the contact pad in the middle is helping me feel the H block a little bit better and help me feel my grooves a little bit better. So, wow. I get what the hype is. I tried them once and fell in love with them, so I'm excited to make these mine. All right, over to the round rail. Oh man. All right, so first thing that comes to mind thinking about these skates is they're a lot bulkier than the 909s. So I've had to adjust a little bit. I've been kicking my own feet, but the control that you have in these is unmatched. It also has the best flex. Forward flex, sideways flex, backwards flex. Whew, it's humid, sorry. So that's given me an immaculate ability to lock in my grinds, and I feel great. Unities in these, Clark has handed down something beautiful from the heavens, truly angelic. I get why these are blue and white now. I'm gonna touch on the numbness again because it has spread from my pinky toe to about my middle toe now. The only thing I'm still feeling is my big toe, but it doesn't hurt. I think it's just my right foot pushing really hard into the right boot because my left foot is smaller, and this foot feels absolutely amazing and is a 9.5. I'm still working on stretching out this toe box. The round rail felt really, really controlled. You can pour over the round rail perfectly and align yourself how you want to be. I get why so many people are switching to these to be able to do tech and to be able to do vert, because I really do think the control you'll get on these is going to be great for the bowl, but also amazing for doing switch ups. Let me get over to the down rail and go from there. All right, y'all. Whee! These poor things are dirty now. Got them real dirty on my Christ grind there. But almost every single one of those was first try. The only thing I wasn't was the double negative. I stuck because there was no wax on it and almost died, and then waxed it, missed my second try and got it the third try. So, oh man, these sole plates feel amazing. Absolutely fantastic skates. So I'm going to just get some more clips before the sun sets. Really get in love with these beauties. All right, y'all. Catch you on the flippity flip. Okay, day 2 on the white Faction Tactical V1s. The toe box is still really tight. Surprisingly, it has improved quite a bit. Feeling a little bit of pinching towards my pinky toe, but it's a lot less aggressive than yesterday, so that's fantastic. The forward flex on this is quite a bit. That being said, the liner is very stiff to make up for the fact that the shell doesn't really go up that high near the cuff. I was actually kind of surprised how low it goes on the ankle, but I think that's why it's so superior in its fit and in its flex. I also think that's why you can have more control, because it's on the bottom half of your foot and it gives you the freedom of feet. Don't get mad, Clark, I'm sorry. I can already tell that the liner's gotten softer though, obviously because of the heat molding and then in my session yesterday, so we'll see how much this flex changes. And I also wonder what it would be like to have my second skins in here. The backslide groove is definitely something I'm gonna have to get used to. I was just learning them on the 909s, and this groove is a little off-centered, so I was missing just like crazy, but I think I'll be able to dial it in. The sole plate is interesting. I will say it doesn't seem to slide as fast as the 909 sole plate, but it's pretty close. I think as it breaks in, that will probably change. The control of these also, like I mentioned earlier, is just absolutely phenomenal. I feel like I can bend in every which way that I want to, but also still be able to be confident in the roll. And last, I'm going to touch on the aesthetics quick. These things look just amazing on camera. But of course, with them being brighter than Dracula's ass, they're going to get dirty really quick. You can kind of see from my first session, they've got a decent bit of dirt, but I've already taken a magic eraser to it and helped alleviate some of that. I'm going to try to do that as many times as I can when I'm not lazy after my sessions. But other than that, I'm gonna get warmed up, get some clips here, but I'm just gonna keep changing the scenery before I have about 4 days of sessioning on these things to really give you a good idea. So I'm gonna get started, we'll go. Whew. All right, y'all. It is day 3. My spin confidence is really high in these. You could probably tell from my sole in spin Mizu. It's not beautiful by any means, but it's a huge step. Just a massive step in the right direction, and I'm very, very happy I got these skates, because truly I don't think I would have done that with any other skate. These boots are pretty squeaky, and that's just normal, especially for a new boot, but I want to get rid of that, so I'm gonna do the squeaky clean. It's really easy to pull long grinds out of this thing because I think of the nubuck giving you the grace and forgiveness of a soft shell, and then the control you get from the really stiff, well-laid carbon fiber. These things are amazing on quarter pipes. They lock onto the coping super, super well, and then you can lean whichever way you need to in the moment to be able to go on top or back in. Fakie on quarter pipe, specifically just fakie in general, is just really, really easy on these, and I think again because of how much leeway you get, you can really balance yourself out as you're moving. I did a double negative to unity on these first try. That's a new one. I've never gotten that first try before, especially with new skates. So again, I think that just really proves how great the flexibility is when you are landing into a unity. You just sink right into the sole plates. Speaking of double negatives, they lock so well. On the square flat to down rail, it felt really good, and then of course just my regular old square rail, and then I got another square down rail today, and they all just felt amazing. They connect super, super well. I really don't slip out from them, and it's really easy to guide. Touching back on that sole to in-spin Mizu, I've literally never tried that before. I've never once tried to spin out of a grind and land into another grind. The fact that I was able to do that in one session, again, not great, but land it, just blows my mind. And a big part of that is because of the confidence I get from these skates. I just feel ready to take on the world. I said earlier that these don't slide as well as the 909 sole plates, and I want to recant that statement. My frames are really old, and my bolts are scraping on coping and on rails and stuff. I didn't realize until I went back and reviewed the footage, but you can hear it scraping clear as day. And for some reason, I didn't notice that when I was actually skating, so my bolts were slowing me down like crazy. But in my third session today, when I was leaning onto the sole plate, I was just flying. So I'm expecting when I switch frames for these sole plates to really come to life, but I wanted to maintain this setup for my whole review, so we'll see what changes. And touching on confidence again, I have never once tried a Pawn Star on a round down rail, and this one is definitely one of the taller down rails that we have. Not super big or anything, but the fact that I was just willing to try it really again says so much about what these skates give you. I have some awful news to report. I lost a frame bolt earlier. I'm hoping that doesn't become a thing. Losing bolts is probably the bane of my existence, and it hurts me, so I don't want that no more. I'm gonna try to finish out with this fourth session to warm up for my end goal. After I finish that up, I'm gonna conclude with some pros and cons, and you will know exactly what Spook thinks if these are wackadoo approved. So let's get to it. Woo. Right, so that was embarrassing. Didn't even really get on the thing. I'm warming up again in my 5th session with the hopes that maybe I can get on the thing, but I'm gonna do a little bit more sessioning and get back to it. What's up? Okay, right off the bat, let's just get this out of the way. I love these skates. I recommend these skates. These things are awesome. A lot of the things that I did for this review I've never even done before, never tried, and I'm really happy that I walked away with them, rolled away with them. That being said, is this skate perfect? No. All right, I am freaking dying out here trying to film in the sun for some reason. I didn't want to film in my basement, and I'm just sweating to death. So let me get into the pros and cons. I'm gonna start off with the cons, mainly because they're incredibly subjective, and I don't think there's a whole lot of things factually wrong with these skates. I think they just all comes down to personal opinion. Like I said earlier, these are pretty bulky. I find myself kicking my feet a lot, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to adjust to that over time. These get dirty really fast, I already mentioned that, but man, yeah, these get scuffed up quick, and if you are using any other color wax than white, you're screwed. Look at these. They're gorgeous, but after 5 sessions and a pretty vigorous session of cleaning after the first one, these are pretty dirty. Here's my dominant foot skate. And here's my left foot skate, the non-dominant one. I was actually pleasantly surprised with how well they cleaned the first time. I didn't want to clean them again after my first session because I wanted to get a good feel for how dirty they were going to get. So let's see how they clean up after 5 sessions. The toe box is really, really tight, and that's because I downsized and I really wanted to push my toes into the boot so it can become perfectly melded with my bone structure. I got a boot dehydrator and I'm trying to keep these as clean for as long as I can. And when I have to put my liner in every session, it's just so hard to push that liner in because it's so stiff. I ended up actually cutting my thumb, and you probably can't really see it, it's not really big of a deal, but I scraped my knuckle trying to get the liner in there on the back of the cuff. So that's not fun, but that's it. That's all the cons, and they're pretty much all subjective, just things that I have to learn to get used to, and I don't think they make the skate worse in any way. And now on to the pros. The control for these, amazing. I said it enough, I think you understand, you could probably see it too. I have so much control over these skates, and I just don't know why, beyond that they're built fantastically. Talking about the build, they are so well constructed. They feel great in the hand. They're not too light that they feel cheap, but they're not too heavy that they feel like bricks. Whatever they use to adhere the carbon in the nubuck does really, really well because it is so sturdy. I don't feel like that this fabric is gonna come off the carbon at any time soon. The flex is awesome on these things. I find myself being a type of person that needs lots of flex because I myself am restricted by my own human inability. So I really need to be able to lean as far forward, as far backwards, left and right as possible. Because of how inflexible I am, when the boot isn't flexible, if I meet a contact point and I can't bend over it very well, I'm just not bending anymore. So I need the skate to bend really, really well. And I think when you pair the control and the flex together, you just get the perfect range of motion. There's not many skates out there that hug your feet this well, but still give them freedom. So this hits a really nice niche for that, I think. You can do crazy tech and crazy vert with them. I love this carbon. Obviously it's rigid because it's carbon, but it doesn't hurt. Usually something harder is going to translate all impact right into your feet, but for these feel as comfortable as a plastic boot, if not more, and I think a big part is because that liner is so cushy. I love heat molding. Man, heat molding made these awesome. If you have not heat molded a liner or a skate yet and you have the ability to, or you're eyeing getting skates that can do that, please do it. It makes a huge difference and the skate becomes yours. It's a big deal. Though I had some numbness on my right toes, the rest of my right foot and all of my left foot were so comfortable. These liners do a great job of packing your foot into them while perfectly filling out the shell. Faction is onto something really great with their liners and their shell combination, that's for sure. These are called cheat code skates, and I totally get it. Again, I got to give that to the flex and the control because the range of motion is what really gives you the confidence and the lock-in ability, and it's just immaculate. This sole plate shape is awesome. It locks in so many different ways. I found myself thinking I was going to slip as I landed, but then the sole plate would just catch, and I think that's because of the curves. And talking about the sole plate being sonic blue, man, this thing is fast. I was having issues with it in my first 3 sessions because my frames are such crap and the axle bolts were sticking out, and I just couldn't figure out why I was sliding so slow. And I'm also deaf and couldn't hear them grinding, so that's fun. But once I realized that that was happening, I started leaning really hard onto my sole foot and I would just glide. So I'm really excited to see what these sole plates are like with different frames that are actually gonna slide well, because then I think I'm just gonna be a rocket. All right, and last, the aesthetics of these, we all know, we all get it. I woke up at ramping camp and Adam from the faction team came up to me, he's like, "You see the post?" Oh goodness, no. Clark just posted new skates and I've never whipped out my phone faster. As soon as I saw it, I knew I had to have it. The blue and white color scheme just screams to the camera, so I knew that was perfect for me. I also want to say that I'm a cheap person and I don't like spending any money, and I have absolutely no regrets paying full price and then waiting a month-ish for my order to get here. It was excruciating for me. Nothing against Clark, Oak City, or the people who shipped it. I'm just incredibly impatient, and I was dying. I was thirsty. But now that I have them, I know my life is complete. Huge shout out to Clark and the faction team. Thank you guys so much for being so inviting to me at Rampant Camp. I really don't know if I would have bought these skates if I weren't able to try them because of Adam. So if Adam didn't get commission on these skates, sorry bro. But we all know that Clark is making serious moves. We love what he's doing. We love the way he treats his team. And I'm super excited to see the future of the company. So go support Faction any way you can. If you're eyeing to get their skates, you know what I say, get them. You just do it, pull the trigger. I really appreciate you watching. If you want to support me at all, you can do that by using my affiliate code SPOOK10 at outdoormaster.com. They have all sorts of outdoor things you can buy. I really appreciate them giving me a helmet and giving me that affiliate code. Shout out to them for supporting blading. Oh man, okay, that's a wrap for Spook. It has been so hot filming this. All of it, just all my sessions, this today. So I'm really happy I ended up getting the things that I got. And again, I think that's just a testament to how great these skates are, that I could really push myself even in this weather to make it happen. So I appreciate y'all. I'll catch y'all on the flippity. Later, bladers.